Well, I guess it all started with a midlife crisis. I was an engineer and business manager, and in my last years of business management, the business ran me, and of course, until it ran me into a crisis. And so I set out on the road to try and to make sense out of life, which simply made no sense to me whatsoever. And in the process, I lived in San Francisco in California for 5 years, and I studied at the university doing an MA in holistic psychology. A part of that was a course on shamanism, and this awakened me to the fact that the ancients have far more broad and deep knowledge and wisdom of the human condition, of nature, of the universe, than the Western ways. And from then on, I went on to study shamanism in as many ways as I can, and quite inadvertently found myself becoming a teacher, passer on of those ways. Originally, I started with Native American teachings from Cherokee, Chippewa, Lakota Sioux, and so on. Subsequently, I've studied quite a bit in Peru and experienced their ways. And I've made, and also the dance ways of the Gnawas of Morocco, the Candomblé, Umbanda, Afro-Brazilian traditions. So that gets mixed in the form of trance dance, which is a very magical and effective way, through the dance, quite simply, of entering other spaces and connecting with the lost parts of oneself. A lot of this work, it's about retrieving soul parts, putting our soul back together again from whatever's happened to it in the traumas of life. And in that process, also reframing the universe from the really cockeyed ideas that have been taught to most of us in this world, and the imposter God that we've been taught and we've been told to believe in. Now, belief is a very interesting thing. If you look at the word believer, it can spell very easily somebody who be in the lie forever. And if you look at the word belief, you can say it's about being in a lie, and then there's one letter left over, and that's F. And if you just put the usual few dots after that and a D on the end, well, that's what you get. Because believing is about taking on board what we don't know, what we have not experienced, simply what other people have told us. And when that's told us frequently and by people who look as if they know what they're talking about and have power over us especially, then it can become an entrenched belief. But it's a lie, unless we actually have experienced. We only actually know what we've experienced. We do not know anything that we have not personally experienced. The only knowledge any of us have, really, is what is inside us, not the crap that is given us as beliefs. And in this world, we've got a lot of that to let go of. And it's, well, the great search to find out what's really true from underneath all the crappy beliefs that have been sold and pushed upon us. The heathen is one who sees God, spirit, essence, the source, in the heath, in nature. And that categorically is me. Now, it used not to be. I used to be a Christian. And as a Christian, I was taught not to see God anywhere except somewhere up in the sky, like an old man with a long white beard. Father Christmas, really. You know, we're taught Father Christmas when we're kids. And we're taught to believe Father Christmas comes down the jolly old chimney every Christmas and leaves us lots of lovely presents. And then at whatever age it is, we kind of start growing up and our parents let us say, no, secret that doesn't know such guy. Only then we're taught, most of us, to believe in a much greater Father Christmas called God. And we're supposed to believe that he's around, and we're supposed to believe all the stuff in the Bible and so on and so forth for the rest of our lives. And, of course, it's just Father Christmas for adults. And It's time to grow up, folks. It's time to come out of these lies. It's time to realize that the source, the creation, nature, ourselves, it's all one. The Creator is the creation. If we want to learn about the Creator, study the creation, study nature, just like the ancients did. Study quantum physics, the hidden little building blocks. And quantum physics works quite differently from regular physics. Study the stars, the galaxies, from the very small to the very big. That's where we discover God, Creator, in the creation, because that's what God is. One of the ancient traditional ways is the vision quest. 3 days or 4 days and nights alone in a place in nature, very quiet, being aware of your inner process and the outer process happening around you of nature, stilling, coming to a place you have no purpose there, in the sense of no food, water but no food, so you've no meals to make, you've nothing to do, you've no books, no mobile phones, no interference, there's simply you. And the gateway is the other side of boredom. We usually get bored, usually get headaches, usually get all the sort of, what on earth did I agree to do this for? When's it going to end? How long? Oh, no watch, of course, no watch. How long before it ends? How many days? Is this the second day? Is this the... Oh, I can't even remember what days. Past all that, which is a natural phenomenon, past all that is something else. And it's that something else. And that's the bit that's unspeakable. That's when we stop the world. For a little bit we stop the world and we see things that are not available to us in the busy world. And then when it's over we come back and we share our stories and we learn from other people's stories. If we quest with a group, we learn from other people's stories and they learn from our stories. And we come back then gradually reincorporate into the everyday world, and yet we have something different. We bring back a gift from the other realms, and our life can change. And we do every year. I've done Vision Quest camps since 20 years, 87, 88, every year in Wales. And we can do it anywhere. And the Vision Quest, of course, is not just Native American, even though that's the most available model. It's ancient. It's in ancient literature from all over the world. People all over the world quested. It's even in the Bible, in the story of 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness. 40 is an apocryphal figure. It's not a literal. As virtually nothing in the Bible is literal. It's stories. It's a metaphoric. A book of metaphor and allegory. But yes, the Vision Quest is from the old world, and it's been forgotten. It's time to bring it back. One can even Vision Quest in a city. Take a day to do nothing else. Nothing else. Set yourself up to go into the city, but to go with different eyes. You have no appointments, you have no purpose, you have no watch, you have nothing. You simply go, and you can either go, you do the directions, go to the south, then to the west, for example, and then to the north, and then to the east, something like that. Or simply go where you are moved in any moment, for no purpose other than simply following the moment. And simply see what happens. You're accessing, the city is the same, but you're accessing a different part of yourself. So what you see in the city will be different. There are many ways of going into trance, from meditation. Oh, I should explain about trance, of course. There's one trance to beware of. It's the deepest trance state on planet Earth. And guess what? It's the one you're already in. Normal waking consciousness is the deepest and most dangerous trance on planet Earth, and just look what people do when they're in it. So, when we are going into, as we say, we go into trance, actually we're coming out of the one we're already in. We're changing our state of consciousness. And so meditation, vision quest, silent times, Zen, watching a wall, and trance dance, these are all ways of accessing that something else. So they're gateways. They are the tool. Trance dance is a wonderful tool because everybody can dance. It's that wonderful African saying, if I can walk, I can dance. If I can talk, I can sing. It takes all the competition and all the getting it right nonsense out of it. Everybody can dance, and everybody responds to music, to the drum. So trance dance has been used, it's as old as humanity. And dancing for no purpose other than to enter fully into the dance. Now, in the beginning, in our world, we tend to come up against shyness, inhibition, and all that. And we need to go through that. And then we probably get to a stage of bravado, showing off a bit of, look at me, you know, I'm not shy, am I? Which is the same thing reversed. But then beyond that is the place where the dance emerges into the dance. And beyond that is a stage where the dance dances the dancer. Ultimately, if one really goes fully the whole way and so on, one can disappear and only the dance is left. And then, of course, one comes back. Time has probably warped, and just like a quest, one has stopped the world, and one comes back bearing gifts. But what those gifts are, no one can say except the person who's received them. So trance dance is a wonderful gateway. It's also great fun, and it can take you into the cosmic joke, which is just laughter, the whole joke of the whole thing. Another day it can take you into your deepest pain and the tears can come out. Another day it can take you into buried rage, if you have buried rage within you, and that can come out. Wherever it takes you, the dance knows best, but it will take you where you need to go if you let it. And speaking for myself, running trance dance workshops, I have it all organised that whatever a person needs will be there to help and support them. Sometimes that even includes a bucket. Now and again, people need to puke up the old sore parts from within, puke up the old poisons. So now and again that happens, and the bucket will always be there, just in time. Yeah, trance dance is great fun. I love it. It's sharing of the stories is very interesting, as when one sees from outside, one sees movement and so on and so forth. But when you hear what's actually been going on within a person, it can be a most extraordinary journey into a place and a connection with spirits and a connection with wisdom. No, I think that the other forces appear to us in ways that we can accept them. So a Buddhist will tend to meet Buddha, a Christian will tend to meet Jesus, an American Indian will tend to meet a power animal. And I think we have to be really wary putting human categories onto spirits. I think that spirits come to us at our convenience and show themselves to us how we are most likely to be able to receive them. But I think the important thing in it all is what we learn from it. What do we learn? What wisdom do we receive? How can the connection with the other worlds help us to live better in this world? It's good to remember we are not here to get to the other world. We have been in the other world. That's our home. We are born as spirit to live in a body the temporary, earthbound temple of the human spirit. We're here to learn how to live in this reality. That's quite enough of a challenge. And we travel to the other world to gain wisdom and understanding of how to live here. But the purpose of spiritual development is about living here. Now, the contrary to that, there is a complete and utter madness that is around in this world, which is the Christian idea, some Christian sects, of the rapture. This excruciatingly absurd idea that the God chap, the imposter God, will, in the moment of Armageddon, take all the good Christians, of only the right sect, of course, up to heaven and leave everybody else to deal with the mess left behind. It's like suicide bombing. It's as ignorant as suicide bombing, where they're offered 70 virgins. I don't know, why is it that the men are offered all the virgins, but what about the women? They're never, nobody ever thinks to offer them, 70 Adonis young men. It's always biased against the woman and for the man. It's all bollocks. That the rapture is the worst of it, because these ghastly idiots who actually believe such ridiculous crap are, in essence, willing, with the beliefs, to bring on Armageddon, to bring chaos to the planet Earth and the human race, with a ridiculous idea that they're going to be lifted off just in time by some godchap of their own imagining. This is suicide bombing on a planetary scale, and this belief system is highly dangerous, desperately toxic, and these are, in a sense, these are the most dangerous people on the planet, potentially, because they don't give a shit about anybody. The Native American people talk about whatever you do should take into account major things you do, 7 future generations, 7 generations of your children. In this world, the major decisions are damn lucky to think more than 4 years ahead, or whenever the next election is. And the most senile, infantile, I can't say words rude enough, is this idea of the rapture. I mean, what an absolute imbecilic, juvenile, adolescent gang of lunatics thought that up. Well, the direction starts, if I take the model of the medicine wheel, which is the best that I know, the first direction on the great journey is to heal your personal history. While we walk in trauma, which is the normal condition after all, we walk with baggage. We need to go backwards and start on the healing process of our personal baggage. And that can be the modern day forms of psychotherapy, hypnotherapy, etc., etc. Shamanic ways that incorporate that are just great, and so on. And along parallel with that, we need to open up to the greater reality. We need to open to spirit, which we can do through meditation, through nature work, through trance dance, through all such things. And at the same time, we need to do the painful bit of healing our history. The shamans call it erasing personal history. It's kind of a joke, but ultimately, to be able to walk without baggage of the past leaves one free and with a lot of extra energy. And that brings me to getting old, which is a little pertinent for me because of years. But it comes to all of us. Now, in the ancient world, old people were elders, wise elders, and they lived and they gave their wisdom. In the modern world, an awful lot of people are old people shunted off into homes. This is a tragedy and a shame. But our job is to work to heal our lives and to broaden and deepen our lives and to connect with spirit. And in that way, we can become elders when the time comes, rather than old people.